So good evening, everyone. My name is Cynthia Lujan. I'm Director of Public Art with Arts Council for Long Beach. Today, I'll be reviewing the mural technical assistance with hopes that you will join our artist registry to be considered for future public art projects with Arts Council for Long Beach. This presentation and this program called the Creative Economy Grants Program, the Public Mural Program, is funded by the City of Long Beach and administered by Arts Council for Long Beach. So this is optional, but feel free to drop in the chat your first and last name, pronouns, a favorite artwork in Long Beach, and a link to share your own work with folks in this space. I think it's nice to see who's in the room and what other great artists there are in Long Beach. So yeah, just wanting to offer some space for that today. So I think we can go ahead and continue with the presentation. So we do want to start off with a land acknowledgement. The Arts Council for Long Beach recognizes that we live and work on unceded traditional and sacred lands of Tongva, Kizh, Achaman, and Chumash, and the many other indigenous groups who call these grounds home. We honor and extend our gratitude to all of the original people still living in this region. So I wanted to do just a general outline for our presentation today. We're going to be just doing a brief overview of the Creative Economies Grants Program, which is available on our website, and the PDF. Lisa, if you can drop the chat for, or drop the link in the chat for the document that folks can reference. And we'll be reviewing that during the presentation. I'll be going over a typical project timeline for Arts Council for Long Beach projects and artist eligibility and artwork criteria. And then the main focus of our presentation today is to review the artist registry. So we will be providing a checklist for muralists for the registry and going through a step-by-step of do's and don'ts for your profile. So we'll be going over these guidelines. Let me go ahead and share screen on this side. Okay, so available on our Arts Council for Long Beach webpage is the application guidelines for this program. And I think the main part that I would advise to reference is the timeline that's referenced here. So in general, for this program, the current requirements for artists are for artists to be registered on our artist registry. So the way that artists will be selected will be through an internal committee, and they will be selected via our Arts Council for Long Beach artist registry. So just for folks to be able to reference later, you know, the general timeline will be for us to identify project sites and prepare those sites for artists. We'll also be doing community engagement for those sites. From there, we will be identifying goals and goals for selecting artists and inquiring with artists to submit renderings. Then we will be going to install the artwork. And of course, but it's best practices for us to have a maintenance plan and a duration of time for these artworks to live out their lifespan. So a couple of addendums that I wanted to share with y'all today in regards to this document. Let me go ahead and pull that up. So the deadline to apply for our artist registry has been extended until September 2nd to become an artist registrant and to be considered for this project. Again, being an artist registrant is the only current requirement to be considered for this program. In addition, there are no confirmed wall mural locations currently identified for this program. So we have received some inquiries from both artists and businesses, etc., to be considered for this project. And so I just wanted to clarify that today in our presentation. So something that I forgot to mention is any questions, you can definitely drop them in the chat currently, or you can wait till the end, but we'll be answering all questions at the end of the presentation to make sure that we have the questions and answers available to both English and Spanish speakers. So today I did want to kind of go over a timeline for Arts Council for Long Beach projects and kind of recite the best practices that we try to uphold for implementing these projects. So we are currently in the process of identifying all the project sites for this project. We will be hosting surveys and data gathering for these project sites. A committee will be formed for this project, and we'll further establish goals and a project theme. Once that is all established, we will be inviting folks from our artist registry to submit art proposals, and we will be paying those artists for their proposals. After that takes place, we will be doing community voting and installing the art, celebrating the project, documenting and archiving the project on our public art map. If you haven't seen yet, we have over 400 artworks published on our Arts Council for Long Beach public website. I highly encourage y'all to reach out to public art at artslb.org to add any public artworks y'all have in the city of Long Beach. We'd be more than happy to archive your works. And so once that's complete, you know, we definitely have a established maintenance plan and deaccession date for the artwork. So some project site requirements, we definitely want the public artwork to be installed in areas that are publicly accessible and visible. The building must be located on city property, and walls may not have any structural or physical damage to them, as this is the first preventative step in maintenance to ensure the lifespan of the public artwork. So we think it's really important to have all that in place so that your work is maintained well and lives out its lifespan well. So I did want to review artist eligibility requirements. As far as our artist registry goes, eligible applicants are required to meet the following requirements. Artists must be a Long Beach artist who live, work, or actively create in Long Beach. This requires a physical presence in Long Beach, such as a business license, exhibition history, home or studio proof of residence, or consistent pay stubs. And of course, again, the artist must be registered on our Arts Council for Long Beach registry in order to be considered for the program we are presenting on today. Ineligible artists are artists who commit plagiarism in their artist registry profile or proposal, artists not on our registry, active Arts Council for Long Beach employees, active Arts Council for Long Beach board members. Again, as I briefly mentioned, committee members are going to invite select artists from the Arts Council for Long Beach Artist Registry based off a set criteria of goals from community surveying. A certain amount of artists are selected per project site and invited to submit a proposal for a small stipend of $250. I did want to just mention, typically there are organizations that request proposals and do not supply artists with a stipend. And so this is where we're starting. It's definitely, just a starting point, a base point, and we definitely look forward to continuing to increase the equitability of our artist selection process. So successful mural proposals. The proposal should be a colorful rendering that's hand-drawn, painted, illustrated, or digitally rendered in the artist's style. So for example, no photo collages. We definitely want this proposal to be a full color rendering, something that panelists or the committee or any viewer can kind of expect your final mural to look pretty similar to. And artistic renderings proposed for public artwork must be appropriate, culturally competent, multi-generational, and represent the mission and the values of the Arts Council for Long Beach and affiliates. Public artwork must be designed with all viewers in mind, viewers and visitors in mind. Artwork cannot display any drug use, depict material harmful to minors, or contain known gang symbols. Artworks must not depict offensive acts, utterance, gesture, or display a clear and present danger of breach of peace or imminent threat of violence. Artwork may not be commercial in nature and may not depict product placement for a business. Artists must have full copyrights to the artwork. And I just wanted to briefly mention, as far as murals in Long Beach, definitely it's important to know and to note that if you decide to paint a mural on a business and it's commercial in nature, so it's advertising for that business, you need to get permitting. So this is just a side note that most people don't know about. So just as a muralist practicing in Long Beach, you definitely need permission from the city and going through their city permitting process. So I just wanted to mention that to y'all, just for your own information. Sorry, one second. Okay. Okay. So these are all different items that will make your mural proposals successful if you decide to participate, and if you are invited to participate from our artist registry to be considered for this project. I will be going over now in more detail how to like best practices and how to fill out your artist registry profile. I want to preface that by saying I know that a lot of you on the call are already registered on our artist registry. I recognize a lot of names, and it's nice to see you all here. So we do have a link to edit your profiles. So after this presentation, if you'd like to edit your profile, we can definitely provide you with instructions on how to access the back end and how to edit your current profile so you don't have to create a brand new one. Okay, so Lisa, if you can drop in the chat the PDF for the artist registry checklist for muralists. This is a short checklist that I've created for y'all to be able to reference in anticipation to creating a new artist registry, or to highlight the areas that I highly recommend to edit and refine in your current artist registry profile. Yes, I saw in the chat one comment that said that they needed to update their profile. That's one thing I want to emphasize is definitely update your profile at least once a year, if not maybe quarterly or twice a year. This is the place where the Arts Council for Long Beach sends people who are inquiring to hire muralists. This is the first place where we search and gather for artists, not just muralists, but performing artists and other visual artists. So please tell your friends to update your artist registry profiles. And yeah, I'll be going over the items. So for the registry profile, you want to have an email that you check often, a username and password that you're going to write down and remember. You'll have to use your administrative contact name, which is more or less your legal name, the phone number, an address. Technically, this is not required on the artist registry registration form, but it does help to process your artist registry profile faster. Your display name, so an artist moniker. So yeah, I can't think of an example of famous artists at the moment, but the next item would be an artist statement. So it's highly recommended for it to be short and succinct and describe themes of your mural work, community work, and or your desire and interest to create murals in Long Beach, or a reason you aspire to become a muralist. So I'm going to pause there on number 8. I highly recommend that you distinguish your mural work or your public artwork from any other type of work that you make. And the reason why I advocate for this is because it's sort of a business card and a shorthand that we use for presenting artists that we'd like to recommend for projects, or when we ask committee members to go searching on our artist registry. This is what they're going to see, right? So they'll see your featured image, which I'll go over. They'll see 3 images of your 3 work samples of your work. And so I just highly recommend to keep it separate from other services that you provide, because essentially your art is a business, and you want to brand it accordingly. So that's just something I highly recommend, is really focusing on your mural work to communicate to folks that that's something that you're committed to and wanting to display and participate as an artist in the city. So number 9, you'll have to have a featured image. Typically, this is a long horizontal image in JPEG or PNG. And you'll need a headshot, whether it's square or rectangle. Horizontal rectangle is recommended. And that is also in JPEG or PNG. There's artist links, and I highly recommend utilizing any social media links you might have, especially Instagram. It's something that's often seen from the registry profile. And then highlighting exhibition performances. I would highly recommend, if you have previous public artworks that you've created to utilize this space to highlight that. If you do not, then I would also utilize exhibition history in Long Beach to highlight. And then I'll go through this on the actual page, but number 13 is a section called About Your Work. You definitely want to click select visual arts, and the secondary also visual arts. And then genres, you'll check mural. And the reason for that is, let's see, I'm going to find the link. So this is a short link to view all the mural artists that are currently on our Arts Council for Long Beach Arts Registry. And this is kind of the go-to of where we find people who are interested and are available to create murals in the city. So number 13 is vital to ensuring that you're in this category and in this kind of file pathway. Number 14, your 3 primary work samples. You'll have your first image. I highly recommend either utilizing still images like JPEGs and PNGs, or at least maybe one video. I probably wouldn't do all 3 videos unless they are, very specific public art mural projects. And it's number 15. It's about demographics. I personally, as an artist, don't like to fill out this information, but I highly encourage that you do, because we do have folks who inquire about opportunities available to specific demographics. And before we share that information with folks, we definitely ask artists if it's possible to share it. So I just wanted to offer that option, or offer that background of why we collect demographics. And yes, Lisa, if you can drop the PDF for this once more, please, in the chat. Thank you. Okay. So let me go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the registry page. Okay. And yes, so again, this PDF is, in my opinion, really helpful to just shorthand collect everything you need prior to filling out your registry profile. One thing that can happen is while you're filling out the profile, you may not finish. And so, you can save and continue later, but I'm actually not too sure. Lisa, if you want to describe the process of what that looks like.
For the save and continue later, it's going to be, you have to put in your email, and it'll either send a link to the email or you can copy the link. So it's not going to just automatically, when you go back to that page, save it. You have to make sure that you either put in your email to get that link to the save and continue, and then also go back to it. And I believe that it does not save like any files that were uploaded. It's the text that's saved.
Thank you, Lisa. Sorry, I kind of threw a curveball at you. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure that y'all had an idea of the very necessary points from numbers 1 through 15 on this checklist that you can gather prior to starting your profile, or even when you're going back to edit, ensuring that these items are highlighted and for lack of better words, correct on your profile. So again, just wanting to remind folks that the registry is open to artists who live, work, or actively create in Long Beach. And that is essentially the eligibility for this program as well. So in here, I've kind of gathered, pre-filled the registry profile. So again, you want to definitely use an email that you are going to check often, and a username that you won't forget and you want to write it down, password that you're able to access, and going ahead to put in your legal name, a number in which we can contact you. Again, your mailing address is not required, but it's highly recommended to put that. And that is something that is not shared to the public. Here you have to agree to granting us consent to have these images and information. And of course, all the information following is going to be publicly viewable as part of the artist registry. And it's going to be published on the Arts Council for Long Beach website. And you also agree that you have the right to publish all the work included, and that it's your original artwork. The next item is listing that you're an artist. Of course, you can also list if you're a group or organization who creates mural projects. You can put your display name. So I would utilize your artist moniker here. This is number 7 on the checklist. And I would include a short and succinct paragraph describing the themes in your mural work, in the community, and your desire and interest to create murals in Long Beach, or the reason why you aspire to become a muralist. I will say that a lot of the artists that we have worked with, since I've been working at Arts Council for Long Beach since 2015, have been emerging artists and artists who have not previously had the opportunity to be muralists. Of course, by selecting visual arts and by selecting the genre of mural, you are essentially making yourself available to commit to a project like this. And so I wouldn't sign up as a muralist unless you're ready for it. It's very labor intensive work. So just side note. Yeah, and then your featured image, I'll show some examples of artist registry profiles that are published on our website. Your featured image is the header image. Definitely want to ensure that y'all are aware that the featured image is only able to be changed by an Arts Council for Long Beach employee. Unfortunately, we don't have the option to edit or upload or re-upload a new picture. So if y'all have a featured image that you would like to change, please email publicart@artslb.org or marketing@artslb.org, and we will make sure to change that for you. And Lisa, is it possible for you to drop those 2 emails in the chat, please? Thank you. Let's see. Okay, so number 9, and then number 8 is the headshot. So, you don't have to have something that's like showing your face entirely, something that's more, it's up to you how you want to be perceived. But it's encouraged to have a headshot that where you show up as your authentic self. And let's see. Yeah, I actually didn't include this part, but the information for public contact information, this information here is published with your registry profile. And although it's something you might not want to put right away, of like your public phone number and your public email address, you know, as a business, it is encouraged that you have this information available to the public so that you are able to get hired for projects. So I would highly recommend to include this. This is also a way for, you know, residents in the community or business owners or other organizations who are looking for an artist to hire to be able to contact you directly. And we encourage that. We definitely want y'all to have access to opportunities, and we are not the only arts organization or nonprofit that hosts public art projects or hosts projects in general in the city. So it's good to make y'all available to whomever is wanting to be in contact with you. And then number 11, the artist links. So I would highly recommend to utilize these social media links if you are available on those platforms. Again, I also highly recommend to pare down those links to display artwork that's related to your mural practice or your public art practice. It's important to have it be succinct and specific to your artwork or your community work in Long Beach. The artwork, of course, can be of like various places, but I definitely recommend to also, you know, post about any community work that you do in Long Beach. That is something that is often sought out or looked for when searching for artists on our registry profile. And then again, I highly recommend to utilize the exhibitions, performances, and publications area. So feel free to, you know, utilize the other options that are available here as far as type of event goes. But if it is a mural, I would definitely recommend utilizing the installation feature. And there's up to 5 options that you can add, or 5 projects or exhibitions, performances, and publications that you can add in this section. So here's the part that I was talking about that I think is really important, number 13. So about your work, you definitely want to click visual arts for both of these categories, and mural. So this is how you will be found and referenced within that link that I sent in the chat a couple of messages ago. So I'm just going to drop it in the chat one more time. Where you can see all the mural artists that are registered on our Arts Council for Long Beach website. And this is the file path that we find on our registry to identify who is a visual artist and who is a muralist on our website. And then we go to primary category work samples. So you would either select image or audio video. Again, I highly recommend to have at least 2 still images, if not all 3 videos, to relate to a public artwork or a mural artwork. And you would need that, you know, as a JPEG, adding the title, the year it was completed, and a short description of the artwork. So in there, you could maybe mention whether it was a collaboration with an organization, or whether it was a led mural project amongst, you know, a group of people, or if it's something that happened in Long Beach or something that happened in another city. So just kind of giving some more context to what the project was, I think would be really nice for people to be able to read and learn more about your work. You have the option to add additional work samples. Again, I would recommend doing images or audio video. And you can link to YouTube or Vimeo for those. And then this is the area where they ask about artist demographics. So if you're not interested in sharing that, there's no problem with that. You can click no. If yes, you can go ahead and fill out the demographics. But again, there's a consent to private identity information that you can read about as well. And yes, so again, I highly recommend gathering this information and utilizing the checklist to have everything ready when you're ready to register. Otherwise, you're welcome to use the save and continue later function. You would just have to provide an email, a username, and your password. And I'm going to go ahead and open up. Okay, so on our Arts Council for Long Beach website, I'll go ahead and go to our homepage. Let's see. You can go up to our artist registry, and then it says join the ACLB artist registry. That's where you can find the registration form that we just reviewed. And then in order to see all the artists that are checked as muralists, we would go down to primary genre, visual artists, and then go down to visual, and then click mural. So currently there are 191 muralists on our artist registry. And these images here that you see are our featured images. So when you go to upload that image, the featured image, that's going to be the first photo that folks see. So you definitely want this to be something that is representative of your artwork, and that you want, your work to really be focused in on your artistic style. It could also be a portrait of you in front of your work working, or even like a work in progress. But again, I would just recommend your artistic style really show up, and having that displayed is really important. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on one artist. So again, your featured image is also going to be the header image. So it can be cropped in a certain way that might leave out some information. So using something that's friendly in a horizontal format is helpful. Again, your artist statement will be going in this section. Your bio or artist photograph will be going in this section. It'll let people know that you're a part of the visual arts genre. And here is where the public contact information will be located. So either your artist moniker name, or your preferred name, phone number, and your email. Under that is where any social media links would be featured. So your Instagram, Facebook, Vimeo, YouTube, Twitter, any platforms that you might use to further display your art. And I highly encourage you to utilize those links and really pare down the information that is available on those specific to your arts practice and your mural work or your public artwork. But again, the three main things that folks will be introduced to are these three images that are your featured artworks. And this is where the title will go, the date it was completed, and a short description of your work. So I'll go ahead and go back and click on another artist to just kind of show how some images get cropped, and a short artist statement, links to their social media. You definitely want to include your artist website if you have that available, and examples of their work. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go back. So this concludes the presentation part of our presentation today. And I will also be opening up the chat for any questions, and we'll be going through the questions, but I will stop recording now. And again, if you need access to the PDF checklist that I provided in the chat, we'll be linking that under the YouTube link that we'll provide later for reference. So thank you, everyone, and I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording.